Grok 4.5, Kimi Code, and Claude Code just ran through 5 identical tests: cost per token, coding benchmark performance, speed, context, and output limits, and deployment, with a running scoreboard the entire way through. The cheapest, fastest model of the 3 trails both of its rivals by a wide margin on the one benchmark that actually measures real coding work. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one deserves your API key, and it isn't necessarily the one leading on points. This test decides whether your monthly bill stays sane once an agent is calling the API hundreds of times a day. According to official pricing, Grok 4.5 charges $2 per $1 million input tokens and $6 per $1 million output tokens. Kimi Code runs $3 and $15. Claude Code runs $5 and $25, the most expensive on both ends. Cache reads tell a similar story, with Grok and Kimi both landing around 0.30 per million tokens. Claude's cache rate isn't cited in the pricing data I found. On raw output price, the number that actually matters for a coding agent generating long responses, Grok is a quarter of Claude's rate and less than half of Kimi's. Grok 4.5 wins this test clean. That's Grok 4.5 1, Kimi Code 0, Claude Code 0. My name is Brian, and I spend my time digging through pricing pages, API docs, and independent benchmark harnesses so you don't have to cross-reference 3 vendor blogs before picking a coding agent. Cheap tokens don't matter if the code doesn't work. This is the test that actually answers the question in the title. On SWE Bench Verified, which grades models against real GitHub issues, Claude Code scores 96%, vendor claimed, with one independent tracker putting it even higher, at 97%. Kimi Code comes in at 93.4%, measured independently on Val's AI's harness, the highest open weight score on that leaderboard. Grok 4.5 trails both at 86.6%. On the AA Coding Index, Claude ranks number 1 out of 98 models tracked, at 78%. Kimi sits close behind at 76.2%. I couldn't find a published AA Coding Index figure for Grok 4.5. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. Claude Code wins this test, and the gap down to Grok is the widest number in this whole comparison. That's Grok 1, Kimi 0, Claude 1. A cheap, accurate model still breaks your flow if it crawls. On sustained output throughput, community-reported testing puts Grok 4.5 at roughly 91 to 119 tokens per second, Claude Code at 51 to 55, and Kimi Code at around 41. That makes Grok more than twice as fast as Kimi on raw generation. Time to first token flips the story. Kimi answers in about 2.8 to 2.97 seconds, the fastest start of the 3. Claude swings wildly depending on reasoning mode, anywhere from 3.5 seconds at low effort to 52 seconds at max. Grok's first token lands at 13 to 17 seconds, its weak spot. For long coding and jobs, Grok's throughput is what you feel. For quick back-and-forth queries, Kimi feels instant. On the overall speed dimension, Grok 4.5 takes the win. That's Grok 2, Kimi 0, Claude 1. Stick with me, because the last 4 tests are where this decision actually flips. Now stick with me, because this is where the scoreboard tightens up. A model that can't hold your whole file in memory forces you to split work manually, and that's where mistakes creep in. Kimi Code and Claude Code both offer a 1 million token context window. Grok 4.5 sits at roughly half that, around 500,000 tokens. On max output per single call, the gap widens a lot further. Kimi Code's documented cap is up to 1,048,576 tokens. Claude Code's documented cap is 128,000, and Grok's practical output tops out around 32,000 to 64,000 tokens. For a full repo rewrite or one giant single pass generation, Kimi is the only one of the three that can actually do it in one request. Kimi Code takes this test. That's Grok 2, Kimi 1, Claude 1. The best benchmark score means nothing if you can't run the model where your team already works. Kimi Code ships with open weights on GitHub and Hugging Face, a roughly 2.8 trillion parameter mixture of experts model you can self-host and fine-tune. Neither Grok nor Claude offers that. Both are closed, API-only models. On enterprise cloud reach, Claude Code wins outright. Live on AWS Bedrock, Google Vertex, and Microsoft Foundry alongside Anthropic's own platform. Kimi's only path is self-hosting. Grok 4.5 is confined to xAI's own API, with EU availability still pending, community reported but unverified as fully rolled out. Open weights change the calculation more than a cloud logo does, since it removes vendor lock-in entirely. Kimi Code takes this test, so Kimi Code takes deployment and modality, and the scoreboard shifts its way. Here's where Grok 4.5 clearly pulls ahead of the field. Now, here's where Kimi Code clearly pulls ahead of the field. Here is where Claude Code clearly pulls ahead of the field. Pick the one whose single biggest strength matches the job in front of you today. One thing the docs never spell out will quietly cost you if you miss it. If this helped, the next breakdown on the channel goes even deeper.